It's Ben here from Wrestling Life, recording this video for a second time today. I recorded one version, it was about 6 minutes long. It was far too nice. I watched it back and I was like, no, hang on, you're being far too polite about this. So I'm going to record another one because this is a situation that genuinely makes me really, really angry. And I think it's really indicative of the direction that WWE seems to be moving in more and more these days. I'm recording about the situation regarding Ridge Holland, former WWE star, real name Luke Menzies. Now, Ridge Holland, if you haven't seen online, has been very vocal in speaking out against the WWE about his release. So let me just take you back a little bit to what's happened. Back in September, end of September 2025, Ridge Holland suffered an injury, a serious foot injury, in a match against Moose, so much so that he had to be carried out of the ring. He tweeted at the end of September 29th, that he was going to be out of surgery for a while. The surgery is for a Lynn Frank injury, which I had to check what that was because I don't know that much about parts of the body. Liz Frank injury, sorry, it's the Liz Frank joint. So it's actually where multiple joints between bones in the arch of the foot connect, and it makes it very difficult or painful to walk or run on where damaged. So obviously for a wrestler, very, very serious. Luke Menzies, 37 years old, joined WWE after a successful rugby career. So obviously these injuries really catch up, especially as you become older in your wrestling career. So it's a serious stuff. He's injured in the ring. He's on loan to TNA as part of this partnership that's going on between WWE and TNA. Not long after that, he finds out that he's being released from WWE. So he posts a post saying that he's been informed that WWE will not be renewing his contract when it ends on November 14th, that WWE are still going to cover his rehab from injury, but that his guaranteed pay will end. Quite frustrating to see the release, as I cannot work for another 6 months due to the aforementioned injury with a family of 5 to support. He went on in that first post to say that his career with WWE had been blighted by misfortune, but he's still grateful and thankful for the opportunity and experience. The shining light that has always kept him going is the huge support from a handful of special human beings. So that was the first tweet. But not long after that, he goes further in a furious statement when he, after discovering that his contract was expiring and the reality of what that's doing for him, he issued a tweet where he said, "I never thought I'd not be able to pay my mortgage. I feel like I've just been hung out to dry after getting injured working for another company on behalf of WWE. Add to that my contract not being renewed, knowing that I wouldn't be able to wrestle for 7 months. This is brutal. Yes, they're taking care of the surgery and physical therapy, but let's be honest, that's the bare minimum after what we sacrificed for the company, plus the possibility of having to get my neck fused too. Talk about getting totally effed." Now, just going back to that first statement, he talked about his career being blighted at times. He's like no doubt referring to the situation with Big E. So Ridge Holland was there in the ring when Big E suffered his what's now a career-ending neck injury. And even though Big E has admitted it was an accident and been very gracious about it, Ridge Holland actually received death threats to himself and his family over what happened in the ring and over Big E. He actually had a post pinned to X over the last 2 years, begging people to stop threatening him and threatening harm to his family. That's now been replaced by his farewell address to the WWE universe. So firstly, just that's awful, that kind of internet trolling. I've talked about this on this channel, with the small amount that I've received just as a humble YouTuber. But, accidents happen in the ring. Wrestling is a risky business. It is a business that is based on trust, but accidents do happen. And quite frankly, if Big E has been gracious enough to forgive and forget, then who are we as who are fans to be that rude, and especially to harm someone's family? So you've got that one part, which I've spoken about recently as well, with Dax Harwood and the kind of threats that his family has received, and also some of the kind of scary things we've seen from fans taking it too far with wrestlers over the last year. The bigger part, though, and the point of this video and this rant, is just to talk about how a company like WWE can possibly think it's acceptable to release someone from their contract when they got injured inside a TNA ring as part of a WWE partnership. This brings back memories of like mid-90s WCW FedEx Stone Cold Steve Austin while he got injured in WCW, and that obviously led to everything that happened with Steve Austin's rise in ECW and WWE. That was the kind of fire that stoked his rise. But you like to think that in this day and age, a company that's as giant as WWE is going to protect its talents that put their bodies on the line for our entertainment and for their profits. And I just find this kind of particularly galling when it comes after WWE posting record profits, talking about these rising ticket prices. Nick Khan has just been open about talking about how bullish they're going to continue to be about the rise in ticket prices, how they are intentionally creating scarcity in the market, especially domestically, so that they can rise up prices. Their third quarter earnings report highlighted a revenue rise to $402 million, up $75 million year on year. They've attributed that to an increase in live events and hospitality revenue, increase in media rights, production and content revenue, and partnerships. Of course, that $325 million that they're receiving in rights from ESPN is a pretty sizable chunk of that, not least the Netflix deal, plus expanding SummerSlam to 2 nights and everything that goes with it. So this is a company that has genuinely never been healthier than it is right now financially. It has more money than it really knows what to do with. So to see talent cuts like this and to see people being treated like this is so galling. And I think it's so indicative of the culture that we're now seeing in this company of profit, profit, profit above everything. So fair play to Luke Menzies for speaking out. I think a lot of people in his position wouldn't do so out of fear of burning bridges. Good on him for being so vocal on social media, because it allows the wrestling community to get behind him. It allows us as fans to support him, and that's what I want to encourage you all to do. I've never met Luke Menzies. I've never had a conversation with him, but after this, I want to, quite frankly, because I want to support him. I want to see what he does next. He's just launched a coaching business, M3 Coaching. Give that some love on social media. Show him some support on social, because this is someone who has gone through a lot of stuff, a lot of challenges for just being a sports entertainer. And, things, as I say, things happen in the ring, but we need to, there is no excuse for making it personal. Really, really interested to see what comes for him next. I really hope he can turn this into a great opportunity. Certainly when I lost my job 5 years ago, I was devastated, and it's led to kind of, after going through lots of dips and mental health challenges along the way, it's led to kind of doing what I'm doing now and where I am now, living my passion. So I really, really hope that this is something that becomes a silver lining in the long term for the former Ridge Holland, that Luke Menzies can turn this around. But I'd love to hear what you think really about this whole situation, not just linked to Ridge Holland, but about how, WWE's kind of disconnect with TNA, how they're a partnership 1 minute, but then they're saying because he got injured in a TNA ring, it's like that wasn't part of his WWE role, which is crazy. What this also means for other injured talent, like if you're on the sidelines right now, like someone like Liv Morgan, would you be worried? Should you be worried? Shouldn't you know that a company like WWE, your employer, has got your back and will see you through with guaranteed pay, especially when they are in such a strong and buoyant financial position? So I'd love to hear from you, see what you think to Ridge Holland speaking out, to WWE's treatment, how you're feeling about the company generally, and just, was he right or wrong to voice this so vocally on social media, and what do you make of this whole situation? So please let me know what you think. This is your channel, me having a rant, but more importantly, it's much more about the community on here, the comments of what you guys all think. As always, I've been Ben Veal. This is Wrestling Life. Please be good to each other. Pay it forward if you can. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye.